Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of Chapter 8, focusing on thought groups and the practice of pausing and chunking with thought groups. For your pronunciation log, it's a discussion activity where to make your initial post, you need to include two things. First thing you need to do is for Part A, mark logical thought groups of these famous quotes here. We have famous quotes from a variety of people, and you are going to mark each thought group, as you've done previously in this chapter, with a forward slash mark. So for example, number 1, whoever gossips to you will gossip about you. Very wise quote. Whoever gossips to you, pause, will gossip about you. Interesting. So go through these and then determine where you feel like each of these pauses, or where you feel a thought group lies in each of these quotes. Now, we don't have any examples of what we looked at earlier in the chapter of transitions, single word expressions or multi-word, conversational fillers at the beginning of a sentence. We have a lot of phrases and clauses, right? So typically a clause is going to have a pause here. There may be a conjunction, an and, but, however, they're in the middle, so we would expect a pause there. There may be some commas that'll indicate a pause. But I think a lot of these are going to have phrases, and where we have divisions, different thought groups, is where a new subject is introduced. A person, a place, perhaps a duration. So those are going to be most prevalent here in the pronunciation log here. So let's just do 2 and 3 together. We will meet your physical force with soul force. Martin Luther King. You knew Martin Luther King was going to show up here with famous quotes. We will meet your physical force with soul force. So perhaps we can have prepositions, not all prepositions, but in this case we have 2 different subjects, right? We have physical force and we have soul force, and we have a pause here between the 2 before the preposition with. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. So we have 2 subjects here. Responsibility of tomorrow, evading it today. We do have a preposition by, so a pause here. Whether or not there's a pause here after escape, I don't know. Slight. I don't think it's a pregnant pause. Perhaps I would put a pause here. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. And you have to think about the speaker too. Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln. These are the more formal circumstances. John F. Kennedy. We're looking at former presidents, people, authors. So here I think this would be a situation where we have more formal speech, and so we have more thought groups. So, when in doubt, look at the speaker, and that'll hopefully inform whether or not there should be a thought group there, as you're going to have more thought groups in formal speech, more pauses, because the speaker really wants to make sure that the audience understands. So after you make that initial post, of where you feel like the thought groups lie, then add your favorite quote. Your favorite quote, or a song lyric, interesting option. Perhaps it's someone in your home country, but translate it into English. Place those thought groups there, mark those, and then share a little bit about why you chose that quote. What is your interpretation of that quote? How is it meaningful to you? So 2 things you need to do. Mark the thought groups for Part A. Include that in your post. And then for Part C, you're going to provide your favorite quote, talk about the meaning and the significance, share that with the group for this discussion post.